March the 24th is World TB Day. In 2009, tuberculosis killed 1.7 million people. Despite this figure, the means to put an end to the epidemic, medicines, diagnostic tools and vaccines, remain inadequate or non-existent. Cambodia is a country particularly hard hit by the disease.
You're speaking of a disease that is impacting the life of tens and tens of thousands in Cambodia. So you're speaking about people that cannot go to school, that cannot learn, that cannot work, knowing that the poverty is very high in a country like Cambodia. You have about more than 30% of the population that is under the level of poverty. You can imagine the overall impact that is necessarily massive.
The most widely used technique for diagnosing TB is sputum smear microscopy. However, many cases go undetected using this method. Alternative tests exist, but they are slow and require sophisticated equipment that is rarely available. At Kampong Cham Hospital, in the heart of Cambodia, doctors are discussing the case of this young boy. He urgently needs to be put on treatment, but without a precise diagnosis, how do they know which drugs to prescribe?
Firstly, unlike adults, children don't produce many mycobacteria, and that means when they cough, it's very unlikely that you will find mycobacteria in any product that they can produce when they cough. Also in children, we tend to see more of what we call extrapulmonary disease, which means disease that occurs outside the lungs. And these forms of TB sometimes can be very difficult to diagnose because it largely relies on clinical history and a good clinical examination. There's no real test that you can do.
A new test offers hope for improvement in the testing of adults. It gives a reliable result for tuberculosis, including resistant forms of TB, in 2 hours, and it doesn't require a sophisticated laboratory. This means it can be used in district hospitals. Médecins Sans Frontières is set to introduce this test to 7 of its TB-related projects, notably in Cambodia. However, on the therapeutic front, the situation remains at a standstill, with drug resistance on the increase and as yet no new molecules.